Hello, hello, YouTube, or on Google Plus, whether you're watching on here or YouTube later on. Hello, how are you doing? I really wish I had a HD webcam because at the moment, as you can probably tell, I'm just using the webcam which is built inside my laptop, and it's pretty damn terrible, as you can tell. Moving very slowly. Robot. Right, hello, welcome. IndieCast episode 16 from Heroes of Handheld. About to start recording for the podcast. I should probably have my Vita with me, shouldn't I? Yeah, I'm just going to go get my Vita. Brub. Only at the top. Oh, right, let's just close everything we don't need. Goodbye. Not much proper indie news this episode. So hopefully, well, not hopefully, but potentially this could be a pretty short episode. I've got 4 links there. Only two open here. What two haven't I opened then? Oh, that one I haven't. Let's click on that. And let's also get this link about people buying the Vita specifically for indie games. I hope it's true, but I don't really see it, to be honest. Why would you go out and buy like a over £100 or $150 handheld device just to play indie games, which you can play on any other device? You can play indie games on your PC, your consoles. Oh, this website is terrible. Right, I'm probably going to start with those two. So let's move those over here. Right, okay. Close that. For anyone who has quite a few Twitter accounts, I would definitely recommend downloading TweetDeck because it's fantastic. It allows you to access all your not Vita. What am I on about? It allows you to access all your Twitter accounts in the same place, so you can like easily go between 2 Twitter accounts. It's pretty darn sweet. Right, so check the webcam. It's all good. Yeah, all good. Right, so let us begin. If I'm recording, yeah, I'm broadcasting, so that's good. Right, let's go to audition and stuff. I'm actually going to double check that this is episode 16. I'm paranoid. After a few months ago, I got the episode wrong, and it was quite embarrassing. So I'm just going to quickly have a look at what episode I am on. Sorry if I'm sounding quite tired. I'm not going to lie, I am pretty darn tired. So that is why my PlayStation Vita. I'm starting to get really annoyed at the battery life. Before, I think it's got 4 hours battery life because I got the original Vita. Normally that battery life doesn't really bother me because it's normally enough. But because I've been playing Borderlands 2, Everybody's Golf, and Sparkle 2 constantly over the past few days, the battery is just literally dying constantly. It's very annoying. Yep, this is number 16, so let us start, shall we? 3, 2, 1. Hello, and welcome to episode 16 of IndieCast, the world's only podcast, hopefully, probably. I haven't actually checked, but I'm going to assume that this is. Podcast dedicated to everything indie on the PlayStation Vita, because as we've been told recently, the PlayStation Vita is pretty much a indie machine, which is good if you love IndieCast, but bad if you like your AAA games. But actually, there's talking about the whole AAA, third-party games discussion on the PlayStation Vita. I've got 2 articles I'm going to start the show with in a few minutes, which is all about the comments made by I always forget his name, or the comments made by Yoshida a few weeks ago. As you'll probably remember, he said that less first-party games will be coming to the PlayStation Vita, which means more indie games. Thumbs up, people, which is good. Before I get into that, I guess I should just quickly go through what I've been playing on my Vita over the past week or couple of weeks since the last IndieCast episode. I was saying this. Oh, I should probably mention as well. I'm also on YouTube, so if you search Heroes of Handheld, all one word, on YouTube, or go to heroesofhandheld.com, and then follow the links to our YouTube page, you'll be able to watch this episode, me talking crap, and you'll be able to see my Vita as well. Yay! You'll also hear the theme music as well. That's cool. And obviously you can also watch this live. But if you're watching this on YouTube, it's already happened, so bad times. Anyway, so this week on my Vita, I've been playing more Borderlands 2 because I'm planning on writing a review for Borderlands 2 on Vita. Eventually, but I need to finish it first. I haven't even started any of the DLC. I'm still making my way through the main campaign. I really am loving it. The update for Borderlands 2 came out last week. Hasn't really changed much. Like, there's still some issues with the how the game plays, like frame rate issues, lag, slowdowns, and I've had a few crashes as well in the middle of missions, which is a bit frustrating. But apart from that, I'm really enjoying the experience. It really is a fun game. I've also been playing Sparkle 2. I finally got the trophy for quest completed, which means I completed the main quest. But now I went back to try and play Sparkle 2 in Nightmare mode, which is the hardest setting. And oh my god, I literally, in the first level, I died in about 5 seconds. It goes so fast. Like, if you haven't played Sparkle 2, or you don't know what Sparkle 2 is, go to our YouTube page or go to heroesofhandheld.com and you can find my review on Sparkle 2 and it will give you a bit more information. I've also been playing a bit more Hotline Miami because I decided to play through it again and get the secret ending, which I got, which was good. And I've also, I'm still addicted to Everybody's Golf. But I swear I'm terrible at it. Like, there's one level, I'm doing the challenges mode, which is a single player mode. And I'm on the bronze levels. And the last course you do before you play the is it a boss you call them? You know, at the end of each level, at the end of each stage, like, it goes from oh god, what was I don't know. It's like, basically, there's different levels of difficulty, and it starts off easy, obviously, and gets harder as you go along. And at the end of each difficulty level, you play a boss, where you play a character, and you've got to try and beat them in a game of golf. That's basically it. Anyway, so I'm on the bronze level, and I'm stuck on a course. It's an 18-hole course, and it's the last bronze one before you play the boss for that zone, for those that difficulty. And geez, it's so difficult. Like, there's nothing worse when you've got a good old plus a 0 or a +1 or a -1, and then you hit it and it goes into the ocean and it says out of bounds, and you automatically get 2 shots added on. That is the bane of my life. Seriously, I cannot stop playing Everybody's Golf. I have rage quitted Everybody's Golf so many times, but then I just go back to it about an hour later. And for those of you who don't know what Everybody's Golf is, it's also called Hot Shots Golf. For some reason, they decided to call it something stupid over here, but Lord knows why. Right, let's start the show properly then, shall we? Right, I've got 2 things I want to talk about before we get into the indie news, as it were. Firstly, a comment has emerged from PlayStation's Shahid Ahmed, and he has said basically people are buying PS Vitas just to play indie games. And so what is he? Let's see if I can. Oh, he's PlayStation's strategic content. That's all it is. It doesn't say what his title is. He just says he works with PlayStation strategic content. And he spoke about people buying the PlayStation Vita just to play indie games. And he said, you know, I probably should have read this article properly before I spoke about it. So people on the podcast will see that I'm failing miserably here. 4 minutes 50, that was. I need to write that down. Where is my paper gone? There it is. 4 minutes 50. Right. Now let's actually read this article, shall we? Okay, so after hearing about Yoshida's comments about the PlayStation Vita getting fewer first-party games and how Sony are very happy people are using the handheld as a companion device to the PlayStation 4, and the fact that Jim Ryan revealed that there will be fewer big-budget first-party games coming to Vita, PlayStation strategic content Shahid Ahmed, it was his turn to talk about the system, and he said he's responsible for signing PlayStation games. I'm going to start all again. Jesus Christ, I'm not on the ball. Got to pause that and stop that. That's 5 minutes 58. All of that's going. All of that is going, I'm afraid. Right. So this first story links to the comments that were made by Yushi Yoshida a couple of weeks ago. I mentioned this on the podcast, where he said that fewer first-party games would be coming to the PlayStation Vita, and how Sony are happy that people are using the handheld as a companion device to the PlayStation 4. And it also links to Jim Ryan's comments that that he said that there'll be fewer big budget first-party games coming to Vita. And now someone else has come out and made some comments about the PlayStation Vita and the games it's getting. It's PlayStation Strategic Content Ashid Ahmed, and he's made some comments about the PlayStation Vita. He's been responsible for signing PlayStation games such as No Man's Sky, Ollie Ollie, Hotline Miami, and countless others. He admitted to MCV, "It's no secret that the Vita hasn't had quite the sales impact we would have liked." And he also said that made it harder for some publishers to justify the cost of creating AAA games for the Vita, but that's beginning to change. The platform very quickly became the go-to place for indie games, and that's down to a number of factors. The strategic content team spoke with lots of indies about bringing games to Vita, and the community was receptive. Indie games are also where the creativity is most fertile. What we have is a playground of indies where the percentage of those developers making money on Vita is actually higher than on mobile. That's healthy, and we are delighted for our partners when we become a platform worthy of their successes. And he also went on to talk about how people are buying Vitas to play those indie titles, mentioning how the indie revolution is moving to PS4 as well. He also said people buy systems to play good games. Good indie games are good games. Ergo, people are buying Vitas to play indie games. And he says he sees evidence of this week in, week out, as more previously mainstream gamers exposed to great indie games on the Vita go ahead and buy one. We'd like to see some sales figures, please, Shahid. So let's see some sales figures, then we will believe you. But that's some interesting comments there, saying that people are actually buying the Vita specifically to buy indie games. I'm not sure how much I believe that, but that's it's good to hear that he's had positive feedback from indie developers. I mean, it's not a surprise. Like, a lot of mobile games are making their way over to indie because Sony have made it easier because of the Unity engine, which I spoke about a few weeks ago on Heroes of Handheld. So that's all good. That's good news, I guess, for people who like their indies. And if you're someone out there who bought your Vita specifically to play indie games, I'd love to hear from you. So just email us, heroesofhandheld@gmail.com. I'd love to hear your reasons for buying your PlayStation Vita. But then Yoshida's come out and made another comment. He sort of backtracked on the comments he made at E3 about the PlayStation Vita having fewer first-party games. He said he wanted to clarify what he meant by that. Apparently, this is his quote: "The question I was asked was, going forward, will the number of first-party games be smaller? And I said yes, number of projects will be smaller. I never said we won't make any games for PlayStation Vita. We're continuing to make games on PS Vita. We just launched a game called Freedom Wars in Japan. It's a big title dedicated to PS Vita, and it's received very well in Japan. I spoke about this in the main Heroes of Handheld podcast last week, and how it's literally selling like hotcakes in Japan. It's blown away every other game or console or anything. I mean, in Japan, the 3DS is absolutely huge, and the fact that this Vita game has literally trounced everything on the 3DS last week was just fantastic. So I'm very interested to play Freedom Wars when that eventually comes out here in the West. I don't think they've given a release date yet, but I think they're saying about autumn time. So I'm really looking forward to that. And he also says that they're going to bring that to Europe and US as well. And he says that we're making that JRPG a very, very beautiful game called Orishika as well. And games made in Europe, Murasaki Baby is a dedicated PlayStation Vita title that got many awards at E3. And we're continuing to make cross-platform games like Helldivers or Counter-Spy. I'm still looking forward to Counter-Spy. I've been talking about it for months and months, but we still haven't got a release date for it. I'm very annoyed. Apparently, Counter-Spy got delayed because they wanted to release it on PS4 as well, so they had to add some more elements or something like that. But I'm still waiting for Counter-Spy. It's been almost 2 years. I want it now. And he also said many, many games we have in development for PS Vita from first party as well. So I think people sort of misinterpreted what he meant. He didn't mean that there won't be any more first-party games, but it's going to be a lot less than there were before. And it looks like the majority of them are going to be JRPGs or Japanese-style games, which, as I've said before, I wouldn't say I'm not a big fan of JRPGs. I've just never really played one, and I really need to start playing one. And a big shout out to I don't actually know his name properly, but I don't want to say his PSN name on the podcast just in case he doesn't want me to. But I got a message from a guy over my PlayStation Vita who messaged me the other day. If you want to add me on PlayStation Vita, by the way, my name is Enter Cole, Entercole. I'd love for you to add me and message me if you like. And he basically gave me a massive description of all the types of Japanese games there were, and he said how people a lot of the time get a bit get confused because they bundle all Japanese games under the JRPG bracket when that's not the case. There's loads of different styles of Japanese games, and it's really interesting to hear from him. So thank you for that message. It really did open my eyes. So I should probably start playing Japanese games, shouldn't I? Actually, a game I really am interested in playing now is a game called Corpse Party. I think it's quite an old game. It's been out for a long time, but I've only just found out about it. It's on the PlayStation Vita. It's a PSP port, and it's basically a horror game where you have to solve this murder mystery. You're teleported to this weird dimension, but there's a lot of horror elements to it. Like there's a bit graphic and gory, and you make decisions, and your decisions can cause characters to die. It looked absolutely fascinating. I watched some gameplay on YouTube, and I loved it, so I definitely want to check that out. So that's Corpse Party. Anyway, back to what Yoshida has said. So it's good to know that they are still making some first-party titles. So I guess... we wait and see. Yeah, it would be nice to have, I'm hoping this is what he meant by his comments, because he was quick to correct what people were thinking about, there's going to be no more first-party games on the Vita. So we wait and see. I mean, I'm looking forward to Freedom Wars when that eventually comes out, because it's been received very well in Japan. So yeah, there's some more hopeful comments there from Yoshida. And apparently he even tweeted a few more first-party games that are coming to PlayStation Vita. He said Entwined, Murasaki Baby, Orishika, which I said, Helldivers, Hadouken, Hohokum, Counter Spy, Fat Princess, and Big Fest are all first-party titles. Now I'm really looking forward to Big Fest. I spoke about that a few weeks ago, so check back in the IndieCast archives. It's basically a game where you create your own festival. A bit like The Sims, but instead of creating a family or a person, you create a festival. So that's all good. So there's some hopeful comments there from Yoshida. Right, so on to some indie news. And the first thing I want to talk about is Minecraft. Now, Minecraft is probably the biggest indie game ever. I mean, is it really even an indie game anymore? Probably not. But it started off as an indie game, and it's coming to the PlayStation Vita and PS4 in August. It's already out on the PS3. It's been out on Xbox for ages and ages, and I'm really excited now because I found out that Minecraft for Vita is not, well, we knew this anyway, but I've actually seen some gameplay footage now, and I think we already knew that it's not going to be the Minecraft Pocket Edition which you get on mobile. It's actually a fully fledged proper Minecraft game on handheld, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. I'm not going to lie, over literally the past week I've really got into Minecraft. I was never into it before. But me and a friend of mine, he bought it on his PS3, and I went around his to play it because I wanted to prepare myself for when it comes out on Vita, because I'm planning to buy it and review it for Heroes of Handheld. And I love it. We were on it for about 5 hours. Literally, I got to his about 9, and we were on to about 2 a.m. Time just flies. It's so good. I don't know why. It's just I couldn't tell you why, but it's just so addictive. Like creating your own world. We found this massive mountain and made our own little balcony, and our own little I don't know how to describe, but we built into this mountain, and we made this really cool balcony we could see out over the whole world. It was great until a creeper came in and exploded and pretty much destroyed everything. Great. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. There is, as I said, some gameplay footage on YouTube, and I'll put it on the article for this podcast. It looks really good. Apparently it plays really well. There's a few frame rate issues, but in a game like Minecraft, do we really care? Probably not. I'm looking forward to it. Release date, they're saying about August time, but they haven't given us a proper date yet because they don't want to disappoint their fans, because it looks like it probably could be pushed back. Right, so a few more news stories before I get out of here, because I'm already going longer than I wanted to be. The Banner Saga could come to consoles, PlayStation Vita after its tablet release. Now, I've never played the Banner Saga, but what made me want to discuss this article is that this is the same company who made this. It's a company called Stoic Games, and they are the company that got into a massive lawsuit with King, who are the developer behind Candy Crush Saga, because they claim that their name, the banner Saga, was too similar to their name, Candy Crush Saga. Now, you all know that King, I don't know if they actually succeeded, but they wanted to trademark candy, so no one else could use the word candy in their games. And now they were trying to sue Stoic for using Saga in their games. According to King, that is a confusingly and deceptively similar name to Candy Crush Saga, which it's not. So King can go away, but apparently Stoic and King have come to an agreement about... which is enabling both parties to protect their respective trademarks. Anyway, so this game, The Banner Saga, is a tactical role-playing game. It's going to be released on iPad, Android, and Windows tablets this summer. So it was originally out on PC, came out in January, and it looks like they're working on an iOS and Android edition of the game. As I said, obviously, because iPad and Android. Because since they've been working on it, they've been looking to give it a console release. And they've mentioned that they would be interested in bringing it to the PlayStation Vita. But they said it would have to come to the PS4 before the Vita, because obviously they'd need to do some extra work, adding some touch controls and that sort of element to it. Now, I've never played the Banner Saga before, so if anyone out there has played it and thinks it's really good or really rubbish, please email me at heroesofhandheld@gmail.com. I'd love to hear your opinions about this potentially coming to the Vita. Are you excited? Is it worth the wait? Should I pick it up on my iPad, give it a go before it comes to Vita? Let me know. And it's good to see that more PC games coming to the PlayStation Vita. Obviously, we've got Don't Starve coming to the Vita very soon, which I cannot wait. That's awesome. And obviously, Hotline Miami was a PC game, and Hotline Miami 2 is coming to the Vita. So good times. Right, so indie hit FTL won't release on Vita because its screen is too small, apparently. The FTL developer explained that it looked into porting the game to Sony's handheld, but due to the size of the screen, they didn't think it was possible. Which is a bit annoying because, as we know, Sony has put a lot of effort into making the PlayStation Vita an indie-friendly platform. And this was through Twitter. They announced this. It was responding to a question through Twitter from a fan about whether it's going to appear on the Vita. It's actually called FTL. It's called Faster Than Light. That sounds a bit more familiar. I have to have a look at this video, see if it is something I remember. Apparently, he tweeted, we looked at the developer, the co-creator, and half of developer Subset Games, Justin Marr, said that it won't be coming to Vita because they looked into it extensively, and in the end, it just turns out the screen is too small for us. Sorry about that. So that's a shame that that's not coming to Vita. I'm gonna watch this video later on of this game, Faster Than Light, and then I will put it on the article for this podcast on heroesofhandheld.com, and you can make your own mind up to whether it is too small to come to the Vita screen. I mean, I guess there are some games that just they're so beautiful you want to see it on a big screen. It's like that game that's coming to PS4, No Man's Sky, that was shown at E3. It's gorgeous, and originally I was like, oh, that better be coming to Vita. But then I thought to myself, no, actually, it's such a big and beautiful game. I guess I'd much rather have it on a big screen. So, yeah, maybe this game is just like that. So we will wait and see. So I'll watch that video and I'll put it on the article for this podcast, and we'll get a better idea and see if it was, in fact, too small for the Vita screen. Right, that's about it for this week on IndieCast. Not much in the way of indie news. There was a big announcement at the anime, I think it's the anime Expo. I don't know where it was. We'll talk about this more in the Heroes of Handheld main show next week. But 3 games were announced from NIS in Japan, and they're 3 really creepy games, but I'm going to save them for Heroes of Handheld next week because I think they're going to be worth discussing with Chris. Now, if you're a big fan of Heroes of Handheld, you will know that last week on the main show, Chris wasn't there, so I had Shona fill in for him. So a big thank you to her. Still a bit iffy over whether Chris will be back next week because he's still moving. Oh, and by the way, if you follow us on Twitter or you follow Chris on Twitter, his name is Enter Soundman. You know how to spell it. ENTERSOUNDMAN. Tweet Chris and tell him good luck. And well, not good luck, but tweet him your best wishes and hope that the move is going well because I'm imagining he's under quite a lot of stress at the moment. He's moving boxes, he's sorting out internet connections and all that jazz. It's quite a stressful, thing to do, move house. So send him your love over Twitter. I know he will appreciate that. And hopefully he'll be back next week. But if not, there will still be a podcast. But obviously, we'll give you all the details over Twitter. Follow us, Handheld Podcast, HANDHELD PODSAST. I don't know why I'm spelling it for you. You know how to spell Handheld Podcast. What is wrong with me? So yeah, you can follow us there, and we will give any details on the podcast will be put there. And every now and then, me and Chris like to tweet our thoughts on the game we're playing on Vita or 3DS, or just share some news stories or our own opinions. So why not connect to us and send us your love and send Chris your love for his big move. Thank you for listening, everybody. Don't forget the website heroesofhandheld.com has links to all our podcasts, ways to listen. You can also find out about the theme song for IndieCast and the main show. Special thanks to the Schnauzer Radio Orchestra for letting us use your music for our theme tunes. We really appreciate it. What else is there? heroesofhandheld@gmail.com. Add me on PlayStation Vita, enter Cole. Chris should be back next week with Smashcast if he has his internet all set up in his new sexy house. So look out for that. As I keep saying, follow us on Twitter. That is where you'll get all the details. We're now on Facebook as well. Search Heroes of Handheld. Why not like us on Facebook? We really appreciate it. Thank you for listening, everybody. I'll be back in 2 weeks' time with the next edition of IndieCast. But until then, enjoy playing your indie games. Bye-bye. 4:15. And how Sony are happy that people are using the handheld as a companion device. And he said, he spoke about content. That's what it is. It doesn't say what his title is, it just says he. And so what? Yes. PlayStation Ahmed, and he has said, firstly, a comment emerged from PlayStation's Shahid Ahmed, and he has said basically people are buying PS Vitas just to play indie games. Oh, hello, everybody still watching. So this first story links to. This is what I do after every podcast. I edit. I should really remember that I'm on Google Plus, because that'd be quite awkward. I'm just gonna start picking my nose or getting naked in front of the camera. No one wants to see that, do you? Anyway, thank you for watching episode 16 of IndieCast. This will be uploaded to YouTube later. You can find the podcast, which will appear later on iTunes, Stitcher, on our website, everywhere. So why not give us a listen? Give us your love on iTunes or Stitcher. Review us, rate us. Thank you very much. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a great evening. Bye-bye. I'm going to go play some Everybody's Golf because I'm addicted.